What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Your boy One Shot, man. You know what I'm saying? Back with another, you know what I'm saying? Hey, y'all like subscribe, man. Finna watch this video about a 6-year-old daughter that helped solve a double murder. You heard me? 6-year-old daughter helped solve a double murder. Crazy work. But yeah, we finna check it out, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm new to this, man, y'all. Run me up, man. Get me where I need to be. And we gonna enjoy this video, man, y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it.
No blood flow in his leg. Tell me where the blood splatter was in his leg. On his floor.
This is Sanaya Jackson. On March 8th, 2014, she was waiting in the car for the mothers. Upon hearing a gunshot, she stepped out and walked straight into a chilling nightmare, witnessing her mother's final moments.
He took them to outside of his room.
Okay, did somebody tell you that, or did you see that?
I see that. He just decided to kill my brother and his daughter.
This brutal double homicide might have remained a mystery, if not for one clever 6-year-old girl who kept herself hidden and became the only living witness, and saw something she shouldn't have, something that could solve the case, but could also cost her life.
I was lady.
On March 8th, 2014, in response to the 911 call, detectives from the Houston Police Department arrived at the location and found themselves at a horrifying crime scene. The bodies of two women were found behind a dumpster, stacked on each other, discarded like trash.
The location of the bodies was a Fisherman's Cove store. Behind the store, there's an abandoned hotel. I knew this case was going to be a tough one.
Detectives were able to identify them as Brittany and her longtime girlfriend, Crystal. It was evident that both Brittany and Crystal's final moments had been deeply traumatizing.
I noticed that one was laying on her back and she had what was a severe gunshot wound to the right temple. Looked at the exit wounds coming out from behind her left ear. The other was laying on her stomach with a sheet wrapped around her head. We saw that her eyes were swollen and bruised, and it was immediate that she'd been a victim of some kind of blunt force trauma. It was definitely our feeling that it was overkill. It took somebody with such great force to break her neck in that blow. That we knew it had to be anger, it had to be personal.
And as they began scavenging through the crime scene,
Had to be
they
personal,
discovered
man.
some crucial evidence highlighting the gruesome details of the double homicide.
It was a white and green wooden, looked like a shutter outside of the window. There were blood stains on the front of the shutter. During the scene investigation, we were also able to find some tire marks in the parking lot. Marks left behind had an extreme yaw mark, which is when a vehicle is at a high rate of speed and turn, and we could follow that out into the street. The lack of blood at the scene led us to believe that the bodies were dumped from another location, but we didn't know that.
As the bodies were sent to be examined closely, detectives made their way to the families of Brittany and Crystal to break the terrible news.
When I knocked on the door, the first person I made contact with was Brittany's great grandmother.
And my name
Miss Fanny.
is Emily Crosby.
She confirmed that Brittany was her great granddaughter and she had been missing for the last day or so. While we were there, Brittany's father, James Cosby, who also resided with Mrs. Cosby, showed up. Are they having any problems with anybody? I mean, any bad relationship breaks up, anything like that you know that anybody that's mad at either one of us?
Oh, no.
With no immediate leads on the case and no solid evidence or clues, detectives decided to start by interviewing Crystal's parents at the police station. As they began their interviews, they were taken aback to discover that even Crystal's own father, Ivan Jackson, opposed the relationship.
So you never even want to let Brittany come to the house.
The only reason I let her come in the house, when she come in the house, she go sit right there where you sitting.
Okay.
And I didn't like that. I used to tell my daughter, I said, you ain't good, you just put it in her head. You know, I used to tell her that all the time. You used to have strength, but she just experiment on something. She don't know what she get into.
He's well known as kind of a fine himself creature, and he has a very staunch outlook on himself.
I accepted it, but he couldn't. It brought friction between both of them.
Tell us a little bit about your daughter. I didn't like changing his school orientation, but it wasn't enough to do because he was wrong. I told Crystal that lesbians stuff would take her out of here. Not Louis.
Ivan told the detectives that the girls had stopped by the Jackson residence to pick up Zanaya and proudly show off the new car they had just purchased together. But things didn't quite go as Crystal had imagined.
She wanted me to come out. She had a new car. Me being stubborn as I am, I believe that I could tell.
Crystal left with Brittany and Zanaya. Her mother made multiple attempts to contact her, but Crystal never answered her calls.
My husband said he was going to go to the house and see what's going on. And if Brittany did something to Crystal, he was going to do something with her. But I told him no, he would got her home.
As the days went by and the investigation dragged on, the detective eventually received the autopsy report for the two girls. It confirmed that Crystal had been killed by a gunshot wound, while Brittany had died as a result of blunt force trauma. The detectives were still considering Ivan as a potential suspect. However, further details from the report revealed something that turned the case even more twisted, setting the stage for shocking revelations and a trail of new, unexpected leads. The bullet that struck Crystal was from a firearm of a higher caliber than Ivan's own gun, and in an effort to completely clear his name, Ivan consented to let them question Zanaya, who had been with Brittany and Crystal on a day they disappeared. Without delay, an officer escorted the young girl into a secret room, and once the detectives learned about the horrors Zanaya had witnessed, they were left stunned, realizing she might be holding the missing piece to a nightmare no one saw coming.
Finna spill it out. That's one thing about them children, but they gonna tell the truth. They gonna tell the truth, bro.
What is the first thing you do when you get to school? Tell me everything that happened from that morning to 4 minutes.
The morning that when I was midway to school, I went to my mama between me and her. My mama said, stay in the car, and I stayed in the car, so I was staying in my mama's a lot.
During the interview, the information they obtained from Zanaya was in bits and pieces and hard to put together. The police weren't convinced she fully grasped what had occurred that morning until she began describing an encounter she had had with the potential suspect.
I heard the teacher was training, so I was sitting back. I guess I was waiting for the structure was
Brittany, Crystal, and Zanaya used to stay at the Crosby residence with James and Annie. Detectives dwelled on the fact that if there was a stranger who had entered the Crosby house that morning, then why didn't James and Annie report it during the first interview? Detective Kitchens, a rookie handling his first homicide case, was certain that whatever Zanaya had witnessed was not a figment of her imagination. Determined to uncover the truth, he brought James Crosby, the only other person present that morning in the house, to the sheriff's office for questioning.
You telling me last you saw Brittany and you didn't have that?
No,
I thought you know.
yeah, but some of the Crystal did. The same thing they did, like, another mystery they couldn't solve was why did Crystal and Brittany leave and not take Zanaya to school that morning? And James didn't seem to have an answer to this either.
That's the one thing that's out there. It's trying to figure out. If no one that would take her to school, you have to let her to that point. No, I know you didn't do what you did. And as things come up, you have to
Detectives spent hours interrogating James, trying to get more information out of him, but he wouldn't budge. He kept claiming that he had nothing to do with Brittany and Crystal's murders. In the end, With no solid proof to charge James, detectives had to let him go. But the detectives weren't done with James. They knew he was hiding something. As the investigation progressed, the detectives unearthed additional pieces of evidence that reignited their hopes. Among these discoveries were a bloody fingerprint and CCTV footage that captured the women's car on the night they disappeared.
We realized that you purchased their first vehicle, which was a 2006 US rental. We knew from what Mr. Cosby said they left around 7:30, 7:35 that morning. So we wanted to try to get any video that we could anywhere that we were showing that vehicle.
The CCTV footage was from a convenience store parking lot near the Cosby residence. But what they saw in another footage from a different part of the city left them stunned. Neither Whitney nor Crystal was in the driver's seat. Instead, the individual behind the wheel was clearly someone else. Based on the person's height and build, it was evident they were male. Unfortunately, the surveillance camera had been positioned too far away to provide a clear image of the driver's face, leaving the detectives frustrated, yet determined to dig deeper, slowly inching towards uncovering a crucial piece of evidence. The following day, exactly 1 week after the murders, James's family joined hundreds of grieving locals in downtown Houston for a large statewide memorial. On that same day, Detectives Kitchens and his partner decided to visit the Cosby house, hoping to gather more information. Kitchens planned to question James further, and if possible, speak with Annie Lee, Whitney's elderly great-grandmother, who might offer additional insight into the family dynamics. When they arrived at the Cosby house, they learned that James Cosby wasn't home. He was attending a vigil in honor of Whitney and Crystal. Instead, they were met by Annie Lee's cousin, Cora Leggett.
We get to Alfred Street. James Cosby is actually at a vigil, so we speak with the caretaker that's watching Annie Lee Cosby.
Cora was watching over Annie Lee that day and had been helping around the house for a few years. Hoping she might have seen or heard something unusual, detectives asked if she had noticed anything suspicious over the past week. Cora hesitated for a moment, then quietly stepped out of the house, gently closing the door behind her. She motioned for the detectives to follow her into the carport, her demeanor suggesting she had something significant to share. As they reached the carport,